Well, hello, my fellow car modelers. How are you doing today? Welcome to another episode of Luka's Kits. We've got a classic one here from 1973, and this is a really cool kit, but it has been coming back every once in a while, and we'll show you here. This is a neat version of it, though, that is probably a little bit harder to get a hold of. But this is from AMT. MPC back in the early days was better known for their NASCAR kits, but AMT did a few of them, and they did these 73, 74 Malibus or Chevelles or whatever they wanted to call them, Malibu Classics. They had a couple names for them, the Colonnade cars, but they were very popular for all the GM teams, the Chevy teams in NASCAR back in that day. Let's take a quick look at it. This is a sealed kit, kind of, sort of, but it is opened on the bottom. But real quick, let's take a look at this beautiful box art. I love that drawing of the car. The artwork is fantastic. Of course, what we see, this is something that attracts me. I've talked about is box art. We got everything that comes with it right there. Talks about the roll cage and stuff. Really builds into a very good looking car. Now, before we open it, just to say that this kit kind of was sort of brought back probably about a year or so ago with the Lenny Pond kit. Now, the Lenny Pond version is a 74. They have put out many versions over the past 20 years, and we're going to look at one that I've had for a while, starting back about 20 years ago with the Model King coming out with their version. But those were all the 74. This is the 73. And for those of you who don't really understand the differences between the two, because the cars were very much alike, it was the same car, but there were a few little things different. We're going to show you when we look at this kit and kind of what we've got planned. So let's go ahead and open it up and take a look. And this one's pretty well preserved. We've got the very simplistic, looks like something got to them there. Look at how yellow it is right there. Very simplistic instructions. These cars were a little bit toyish, very, very simple chassis, but not bad. You could make them look good. At least the rear end and exhaust wasn't molded to the bottom of it. So it looks to be like a stock Chevelle chassis, which quite honestly, there were a lot of some of the lower teams that would still take a junkyard car, or they would get a hold of a body in white, full body in white with frame from the manufacturers and build their cars. They didn't always just go full from the ground up tubular chassis built by Banjo Matthews. Some of the teams didn't have the money for that, so they built their own. So this could represent a lower buck team. And there we go with all of this. And this right here, we're going to come back to this because this shows you the differences between the 73 and the 74. And here are the decals. Those are pretty well no good. I don't think they will do well, but you never know. You might be able to shoot over if I ever want to do this, but I believe there has been reproductions of these decals done if you wanted to do the pylon car. Now, whoever owned this before me, they were nice enough to wrap up the glass. Let's get this out. And the glass is in beautiful condition. So nice. Now, here we go. Let's take this out. We're going to put that there. We've got the chrome and, of course, the tires, and we're going to look at those. Take the box and get away. Let's look at the chrome. And that is the front bumper and grille for the 73, which is different. And we'll show you in a little bit the difference between the 73 and the 74 that's available. I think you can still get that Lenny Pond kit. And we'll look at the tires that got bagged. These are, I always liked AMT's tires from their NASCAR kits. They just have a really cool look about them. I like the tread because they were treaded tires back then. I've got quite a few of these, and I kind of like them on street cars. Some of the, like a nice bias ply wide. You don't find that very much. It's a wide bias ply look that would give you a nice cool street machine look from the 70s. These are really cool tires if you ever get the opportunity to get a set, because the later issues didn't put that tire. They put the AMT NASCAR slicks in them. later on. Now, this is a sealed in the bag kit, and I'm going to open it because I bought this kit for a particular reason. I used to for years. I had this kit. I wish I still had the other one I had, but I think I sold it. I don't know. I can't find it anywhere. I don't remember. But my original kit that I had for years and years was yellow, and it was a 74. So I wanted a 73, so I got rid of that because I have plenty of 74s. But I bought this because I wanted the 73 for a particular reason. And let's get Hobby Knife to do the job for us. Here we go. Since 1973, this has been sealed. That's 1973 air in there. Let's let it out. It's opened. I did it. You saw it right here. How cool is that? Let's look at that body. Chevelle body. Very nice Chevelle body. There was always complaints that this front wheel well is opened way too wide, and there's a lot of fixes for that. But this back wheel well is really nice and very stock. Like, I've seen people turn these into stock street Malibus. It's very possible. It's very, very possible to do. If you can get a donor wheel well, like from a junk kit, which I have some junk bodies, which was something I thought about, was taking this wheel well and putting it in there to make a street one day. Maybe. You know, there's a couple of little tricks you can do to get that wheel well to be a little bit more narrow, and I'll show you an example of one I did a little bit later on the video. Here's the chassis, or chassis when I feel like being pretentious. Really not bad looking. You could actually get donor front end pieces, take off this very simplified front end, and there's no linkages for steering or nothing, no upper control arms. Well, you could fix that up pretty easy. But quite honestly, that looks like a Chevelle frame and all that stuff. And like I said, there were some teams that actually used the stock floor and frame. This is an important part that we want to look at, and we're going to set that aside. Not a bad engine. It could build up into a nice Chevy big block, and intake's actually pretty nice. With painting, I mean, you could go with what you get in the kit. We have our pretty basic rear end, and here's another part that's very important to show you in a little bit. But here's your rear end, very basic. Again, you could get a parts box rear end to make it look a little bit better, or just go with that. The roll cage, the firewall's got a little bit of detail on it. You could sand it off or work with that. It was a different time. This is early 70s. They are also considering them toys for kids. Pretty detailed for that, though. I think they did a really good job with these. Sometimes I kind of like the AMT NASCARs better than the MPC ones. Pretty basic roll bar. They kind of went nuts with the padding, putting it on both sides, making it really thick looking, but it's still... I love the wheels. They're a little bit too deep, but they look like those 5 slots that were popular in the 70s. Here we go. Let's look at this. You also have the choice of having a Laguna nose, which somewhere in here I saw it. There is a Laguna grill to go in there. Not sure what happened to it. Alright, oh, look, we got a starter sitting there. Very simple, but there's your core support if you choose to use it, and the other wheel. Pretty nice dashboard, simple, but kind of gives you a wood grain on there, or a crinkling, which was very popular back in the day. They would paint with crinkle or do a simulated wood grain. This is part of the front cowling, I think, or the whole front of the car. Your blank interior pops right in, so you don't have any door panels or anything. So there you go with that. I'm going to clear this, and I want to kind of go over a few things, so we'll be right back here.
You're watching the Luka C channel on YouTube.
Here is the kit we're looking at. This is the 73, and real quick we're going to do some comparison with the 73 body. When they came out with the 74s, and apparently from the old kit that I had, this kit crossed over, so when they had to do a little bit of retooling to do the 74 cars like that Lenny Pond when it originally came out in 74, this kit ended up turning into a 74, which was the version that I had before. And I was so happy to find this because 73s are extremely rare to come by. I don't know why. I don't know if they can do them again, if they had lost the inserts that were different. I don't know, but they've never seemed to repop that. Since around the 80s, there was a generic one that came out, and I believe that was a hit and miss. Even though it was a 73 on the cover that was drawn, sometimes you would get a 74 from what I remember. I know a few friends of mine that had them. About 20 years ago, Model King brought this out, which was kind of an interesting marketing plan. They marketed it as a Saturday Night Thunder, like a Saturday Night short track car. But this was that kit, but as its last incarnation, as you can see, if those of you know, it's a 74 Malibu. And I bought a few of these because they hadn't been around for so long, and they, to find them at the swap meets were astronomical prices. So this was a really cool kit. You can see there's the one with the Laguna nose built up. It had a cool decal sheet. Right there, you can see right there the 74 tail lights. We're going to do a comparison. But this kit, I have, this is going to be kind of a combo. I have a Luka's unbuilds happening now. I'm going to show you. I had a pretty cool one going here. I've got the chassis done. I had done some modifications to it, changed a few things. You can see I took Chevelle, probably Revell Chevelle lower control arms, I believe those are, and I put some NASCAR upper control arms and linkage. See how you can just improve that chassis, cut the wheel wells they had on it. I did the bars up front. You can make this existing chassis look very nice. You really can. See your comparison right there. So I may have to get back on this because it's looking really cool. The interior, everything's nice. My frame is a little screwy up there, but I want to show you something here to compare the 74, how they had to retool. Right off the bat, you see that opera window. They had to close those up. In 74, Chevrolet put a piece of metal into the roof line, and actually, if you own any of the later models that have the smaller opera window, it still has the full back glass. It's all covered up by sheet metal on the outside and the interior. If you take that panel off, you will still see that full piece of glass. They never made the small piece of glass. That's a little trivia for you on the street cars, but we're talking NASCAR. They didn't put glass in them, but they closed this up for aerodynamic purposes. Chevrolet did this for NASCAR because the teams were having trouble, but I think that looks a lot better. I love the 73s because of that and a couple other things. You can see right here, I did the modifications to the wheel well. That wheel well was big, just like the untouched one on top, the 73 we got. And I just closed it up. There was, I wish I could remember who it was, put it down in the comments. There was a great article many years ago in the Randy Ayers message board of how to close this wheel well up. And it was really great because it had to do with, it's hard to see, but there was just a simple slice you put in here, move this forward, added plastic, putty it up, do a little bit of grinding. I flared it a little, did my little trick that I've shown before in other videos of how to flare by adding little eyebrows of plastic. And I got the front wheel well look I was looking for. But do you see what we have here? It comes with a different front end, and I'll show you why. Because do you see the difference in the nose? The 74 grill does not go up. It goes up much higher than the 73 grill. This is the 73, so the 73 is much shorter. So I cannot take this 73 grill and bumper and put it on this because it's not going to fit. We're going to have a gap. But here we go. We've got what comes with your Lenny Pond kit. That's the 74. It's a lot larger grill, and it goes all the way to the top, and it fills in that spaces. Another thing that's different is we don't have the rear here. I'm going to get this car out of the way. Here is my rear taillight area for the 74. The 74 had rectangular taillights. This is another thing I like 73s so much better is you look the 73, which I'm I'm a fan of that Ferrari look that in the early 70s, GM was going for this Ferrari look, like the 71 to 73 Camaros had the round taillights, and the Corvettes had the round taillights 68 when they came out with the C3. So a lot of the cars in the early 70s were going for that look with Chevrolet. So there's your difference between the taillights of the 73 and the 74. That's different in your Lenny Pond, again, is the 74. The rear bumper, I'm going to have to do a check. I got to pull the rear bumper. I think they're exactly the same. So if you got the Lenny Pond kit, but you want to do, say, like a car I want to do, Benny Parsons' championship winning Malibu that he ran in 73, you got to do some modifications to the 74 to make it more accurate. Yeah, you could just go ahead and cut this out. And there is something very interesting. If you look, let's see if I can get this chassis all out. I was avoiding that, but now I can show you some things. If you look down in there, some of them, you can faintly see the lines, the remnants of where they filled in and welded, but you can kind of see a pattern you can follow to cut that back glass out to get your bigger opening. And just so you can see, there's some of my body work underneath there of when I changed out. You can see I pulled that over and added plastic, and I think I even did a little bit to the front too. Sliced it, moved it forward. So let's do a quick comparison here. There, you can see how much of it, how I closed it up. A little thing that we're getting to is why I bought this kit, why I was excited to finally get it, and why I was willing to open it up, because one of the next conversion kits from Luka C Products is going to be for the Lenny Pond kit. And if you happen to have a bunch of these that you bought up 20 years ago when Model King came out, I am going to have this kit for you guys if you want to truly make a correct 73. We are going to have the grill, the bumper. We are going to have the tail light section. We are going to have the front end here. And again, it may come with the rear bumper. We will see. It depends on if there's anything that's different to turn your 74 into a 73. Of course, you're cutting away here. There's nothing resin there, but I might see if I can make a nice pattern for you guys that you could follow. That might be a nice little added thing to add into if I can swing it. Let's take a look. This is the hood that came with. I don't think there's any differences in the hood, but we don't know. It seems to not be. Seems like the hoods are exactly the same. So we're okay with the hood. We don't need to do a hood. But we will do this. We will do that right there. We will do at least the front bumper and the grill assembly together, which for some reason I have an extra one right here. That's nice. And that will probably be it. You know, we've got there'll be about 3 or 4 pieces involved. Simple kit. We should be getting that out here. It's on the list to be the next into the molds, which I'm going to be doing a lot of mold making here for a lot of different projects I got going. I got a bunch of new things coming out. So we're going to be making some molds here this week. So I will make the announcement on my Luka C page. If you haven't joined. The announcement will also be on the Luka C Model Car Hobby Headquarters Facebook group. And of course, I will make another video announcing the arrival of that kit. I will show it. We'll play around with it. And it's coming, dudes. It has been requested by a lot of the NASCAR builders to do that. Well, it's been on my mind, and it's time to do it. It's been on my mind a long time. That's what I bought this kit for. So I hope you enjoyed this little looky-see of this wonderful kit. Just a cool kit. I love that box art. This was such a cool looking car. I love these Colonnade Malibus. They are just so neat. I really would love to get my hands on a real one. I always liked them. I had a 73 Laguna 30 years ago, and something bad happened to it. It got thrown off a trailer. That wasn't nice. We didn't like it, but it was a cool car. I kind of miss it. All right, well, thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed that, and we will see you in another video soon. And why do we love getting this old vintage stuff and love it when they repop it? No matter how many people complain, the stuff sells. And there's really more people that love it than hate it. Round 2 models, keep on bring this back, you know? Heck, bring this back. You can do this. This would be fun. Even if you have to put a 74 in it. I love it when you do the old box art. That's like the greatest thing when they and I have a lot of the original stuff, and it doesn't bother me that they repop the old box art. It looks great. I love that stuff. I love it when they bring the NASCARs back. So why do we love it about these model cars? I don't understand. Wait, no, I have the answer. Because they're fun. Here's the producers.